Hello everyone. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. It's been almost a week since I made the last video, so I was trying to refresh myself on what exactly we did. I was looking at my notes and I was playing around, and I think what we ended off with was we made this for each that took into account the linked bullets. And we linked it whenever we created the bullet. So we create the bullet, and then we link the bullet that was just created to the text shooter. And this is important that I'm in this for each text shooter object so that I can link the bullet created with that specific text shooter object. In other words, this specific text shooter object, this specific text shooter object. And I was able to make these bullets disappear after it leaves the turret range, and they no longer share this range in between. So we see it disappears. So let's go ahead and try to implement that for my turret object. So I'm going to add a turret object in my game. Let's add another one. And I'm going to go ahead and decrease this fire rate. So maybe make it 3 seconds. And let's see. Okay, let's try it. Okay, I need to decrease my turret firing rate also. So it's been a while since I did this. It's definitely not my text shooter. Why is my text shooter this thing in my single bullet turret? Alright, so I can definitely clean up my code later as well. Where do I create my bullets? I think it's right here. Okay, so for each turret object, I'm going to create this bullet. Let's go ahead and increase that to 2 seconds. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, so it's really hard right now to try to debug this. I can't really tell if they're being shared or not. So how can we fix it? Well, since I already know these are done, I'm going to go ahead and delete them off my screen. And maybe I can put these right here and right here. Maybe that might help see if it's shared. Maybe I can also increase my firing speed. Just trying things out. Okay, so what if I make this lower? Maybe if I decrease my firing range as well. Maybe if I make my firing range smaller, it'd be easier to tell. So if it aims for anything outside. Alright, but I want my bullets to be able to tell. Like, I want to be able to see my bullets right here. I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to probably, to make it easier, make a new scene to play around with. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to right click and paste. And here we have copy main 2. I'm going to rename this. What am I working on? I'm trying to make linked for my turret. So let's go ahead and open that. And what I want to do, all I want to do basically is to see if these two can share range. So with that in mind, why don't I go ahead and take some stuff out. So enemies, what if I don't spawn enemies? So let's go ahead and delete all this code. All right, now the problem is that I'm no longer going to fire. So what I'm going to have to do is, well, I can also delete all this tax shooter code. I don't need it for now. And make sure you're not deleting from the main. Make sure you're deleting from this copy that you made. Okay, I don't need a game over necessarily. I just want to observe my single top turret. Don't need this. Right. Enemy explosions, don't really need that either. Don't really need animations. This is all tower range. And go ahead and delete all that. So all I have is this right here. And basically, this is only happening if this is true. Well, why don't I make it happen all the time? So let's go ahead and see. Okay, nothing's happening because the turret distance to enemy is not below this range. So what if I go ahead and delete this? And we don't really need comments for now. Let's go ahead and copy and paste this. So I'm always going to do that. And I don't need a condition essentially for this to happen. The condition is only the fire rate. Oh, I think I deleted too much stuff. I deleted the firing range. So I need to undo a lot. Okay, where is my firing range for my turret? Maybe I didn't have that. Okay, so I did not have a firing range for my turret. I only had it working for my tax shooter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'll keep that, but I'll delete everything else. Okay, so go ahead and keep this. I'll keep this so I can see my object turret range. We won't have any enemies necessarily. Let's see. So that's my turret range. What is this? Single bullet turret. Alright, so I'm going to delete this condition. I want to always fire, no matter what. Let's go ahead and look. So I can still see that, and it's not currently working for that. So not for each tax shooter. I want to change that to turret object. And we don't have this link yet. If the bullet distance to turret, and this should be turret, then it'll work. Alright. Let's see. Nothing's showing up. Let's undo. Okay. And let's redo. For each turret object, if the bullet distance is below the turret variable firing range, delete object. Here we can put them closer. What if I increase their range? So I hope this video shows you that I'm just playing around with stuff. Okay, so we see bullets now. What if we make it even more obvious? Share range 200. Maybe make this enemy down here. Right. Maybe combine them a little bit. Alright, so we see that currently what is happening is the bullets only exist. They only exist for where the ranges overlap. Alright. And that is a problem. We want them to exist on their own. I'm just playing around with things, trying to see how things work. So if the bullet distance to turret is not below this firing range, delete the object bullet. And this is for each turret object. So what if we delete the for each turret object, and so we just drag it to here, right? Because it was checking, so before, what was it checking? It was checking, oh, is this bullet below the firing range limit to this turret? And is the same bullet below the firing range limit for this turret? So it was checking the same bullet, and that's why the only time it existed was when the turret firing ranges overlapped. So what if we delete that for each turret object, and it's just checking if the bullet distance is below? Alright, so now notice, it's whatever area they share. So if you think about set notation or set theory, you can think of this one as an OR statement. If the bullet is below this or this. But for the repeat for each turret object, it was the intersection, the AND. It has to be below the firing range for this and this. But right here we have an OR because this bullet is existing here or here because it's below the firing range. Just some neat stuff, huh? Alright, so with all that, how can I implement it in my actual game? Well, let's go ahead and try some stuff out. So how did I do it last time? Well, last time, what did I do? Repeat for each text shooter object, taking into account all bullets linked to text shooter. Alright, so I had to link it first. So when I create the bullet, why don't I link the bullet to text shooter? So can you find where I link the bullet or where I create the bullet for my single shooter turret? Alright, let's go ahead and look. I create it right here. So right here, I can use my text shooter to help me. I'm going to link the bullet. Okay. So let's look up link. I'm going to link the bullet created with the turret. Link bullet and turret. Link bullet and text shooter. Awesome. And now this is going to be repeating for each text shooter object. Well, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. I don't think I can. I'm going to add a new for each object. Drag it up. Maybe right here. And I'm just going to do for each turret object. Okay. Copy this, take into account all bullets linked to turret, and if the bullet distance to turret is below turret dot variable firing range, then I delete object bullet. Okay. So let's check it out. See if it works. It's a little hard to see if it works in this one. What if I put it into my link turret? So what did I do? Well, when I create the bullet, I link it. Alright, I linked it. And now I have a, let's see, I have a repeat for each turret object. Can I copy it? Paste. Yeah, I can. Alright. So I have a repeat for each turret object, taking account all bullets linked. If it's below the turret firing range, delete it. Awesome. So it does work. So we see that whenever the bullet disappears from this turret's firing range, it disappears. And whenever this bullet gets out of this turret's firing range, it disappears. It looks a little bit off though. Oh no, it goes all the way here, which is the limit of that firing range. And it is a little bit hard to test to see in this main one, but if it works in here, I'm pretty sure it works for a main. So that was a lot of talking, and what exactly did we change? Well, if you are tuning in to the very end of this, all we did was we linked the bullet and turret, and we made this repeat for each turret object, and basically we replaced tac shooter with turret, copy and paste it. But I hope that showed you some insight into the theory behind things, the and or for the set notation kind of stuff, and just playing around with stuff to try to get it to work, to try to see how it works. I didn't develop gdevelop, but you can kind of see what they intended and how you can make things work. All right, in the next video, or in the next episode, what we're going to try to do is clean up a lot of this. It's really messy. Things are in places they shouldn't be probably. And think about this. I'm going to have to repeat this for every single turret tower I create. We can definitely clean this up as well. All right, until next time.